Hello, good evening. It's News 360 coming to you live from the News Ofori-Atta Desawe Kanda. I am Teshie Gabo.
And I am Martin Asiedu Data. These are the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
Tonight, government to permanently deploy 24-hour military presence at various illegal mining sites considered as flashpoints by close of the first quarter of 2026 in illegal mining fight.
Over 2,000 firearms handed in under gun amnesty program as authorities warn against retaining military-grade weapons.
And later in the bulletin, majority side in Parliament on the Foreign Affairs Committee described as unmeritorious and unjustified the calls by the minority for the removal of Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa.
Coming up in business news, Islamic Finance Research Institute of Ghana readies financial sector for non-interest banking and finance rollout following new guidelines by Bank of Ghana.
On the international front, U.S. President Donald Trump rules out the use of force in his bid to control Greenland. We're live around the world on 3news.com. That's our website. We're also streaming on Facebook and on YouTube, so your comments are always welcome.
The news now in detail, and government will permanently deploy a 24-hour military presence at various illegal mining sites considered as flashpoints by close of the first quarter 2026. Spokesperson of the National Anti-Illegal Mining Secretariat, Kwesi Shandov, says this strategy sanctioned by the sector minister is the commencement of the new phase of the fight against illegal mining.
With over 1,500 persons arrested so far, the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, NIMOS, continues to crack down on illegal mining flashpoints in the eastern Ahafo, Bono and Ashanti regions as part of efforts to fight Galamsey. Their latest raid in the Bono region led to the injury of a member of the task force, while one armed assailant was killed in an exchange of gunfire. Spokesperson of NIMOS and the Lands Ministry, Kwesi Shandov, says despite the gains made, political interference remains a major bane.
The facts, like the ones that NIMOS confronted yesterday, and the illegal miners that consistently we've been arrested, indeed we've arrested over 1,500, all of them are not the focal persons. The focal persons and the actual instigators and the principal facilitators of illegal mining are the political kingpins. They actually are the challenge. Indeed, they are the ones who interfere with most of NIMOS' operations, and they are the real headache.
He indicated that government will permanently deploy a 24-hour military presence at various illegal mining sites considered as flashpoints by close of the first quarter of 2026.
The crackdowns are in full force. So we have 2 more months in the first quarter of 2026. Within this period, we are hoping to fully deploy military personnel, the NIMOS task force, to all the relevant flashpoints on a permanent basis, which means that they'll be there 24 hours 7, monitoring and embarking on operations along all the water bodies that earlier we declared as security zones. And so that is in the offing.
In welcoming this initiative, co-founder of environmental civil society organization Eco-Conscious Citizens, Aula Sewa, says this deployment will be a major boost to the fight against illegal mining.
We'll take the right steps and ensure that where there's political interference, we expose those who are interfering and deal with them. All we need right now is a political will. The president assured us whilst in opposition that they would deal with the canker. Because I keep on saying, we're on the verge of an ecological catastrophe. We cannot go on this way. We really need to put action.
Despite what he described as permanent attacks and disruptions to its work, NIMOS reaffirms its resolve to continue the fight against illegal mining and called on stakeholders to maintain their support for ongoing operations.
In more news this evening, more than 2,000 weapons have already been surrendered nationwide under the Interior Ministry's gun amnesty program, now extended to January 30, 2026. Authorities stress that police and military-grade arms will not be regularized and must be handed over.
Security agencies remain on high alert at borders and airports, determined to intercept any attempt to bypass the law. Executive Secretary of the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons, Dr. Adam Bona, has disclosed that more than 2,000 arms have already been surrendered. He noted that sidearms are the most commonly possessed weapons among individuals, followed by locally manufactured weapons.
A couple of thousands, if you ask me. A couple of thousands mean that would be obviously more than 2,000, and so, or more than 1,000. So we have collected so far. A couple of thousands have come in since the 1st of December to date. From the trend analysis, we have more of the sidearms, we have more of the pistols, and then we also do have more of the locally manufactured weapons, then some other, categories.
Dr. Bona cautioned that military-grade arms, such as AK-47s, cannot be regularized and must be surrendered to the state. According to the Executive Secretary, the Greater Accra region is leading in compliance.
There are some weapons that cannot be regularized. For instance, the military-grade or the police-grade weapons, and these are the AK-47, the G-series, the M-series. Those weapons, you can only surrender them to the states. Compliance in Greater Accra has been very good. Greater Accra is still leading when it comes to the region with the most, weapons surrounded, and most weapons, that has come in that were illicit and have come in for regularization.
There are approximately 2.3 million small arms and light weapons in circulation in Ghana, with about 1.2 million legally registered, while about 1.1 million remain unregistered. In response to calls from stakeholders for an extension, government extended the gun amnesty period by an additional 2 weeks. The gun amnesty extension will now end on January 30, 2026. Dr. Bona reiterated that once the amnesty ends, agencies will strictly enforce the law.
Let's now go to Medina, where we understand a fire outbreak has engulfed parts of the market in Accra, prompting an emergency response from the Ghana National Fire Service as crews work to bring the situation under control. Fire tenders from the Medina and Legon fire stations were deployed to the scene at a report of the blaze emerged. Many shops have been affected as a result of the inferno. Several security personnel have also been deployed to the vicinity to safeguard the traders where the cause of the fire cannot be ascertained as investigations into the cause begin. Last year, the area recorded multiple fire outbreaks resulting in loss of property. We will continue to monitor the situation and give you the latest update.
In a related development, the Greater Accra Regional Minister Linda Akwele-Oklu has assured victims of Tuesday's fire outbreak near the Central VIP bus terminal of government's support. She gave the assurance during a visit to the scene to assess the extent of damage. Nura Mohammed was there and has come through with this report.
The National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, has begun clearing operations at the site of the inferno at the Circle VIP bus terminal, which occurred on January 20. The fire, which affected more than 50 shops, led to the loss of property, leaving many traders devastated. The Greater Accra Regional Minister Linda Akwele-Oklu on Wednesday, January 21, visited the scene to inspect the ongoing NADMO operations.
Yesterday we had a fire outbreak. I was here with NADMO. In fact, initially I asked NADMO to take the lead to come and look at the place and then have some assessment and give us the feedback. And the cause of the fire is not yet known because we are still waiting for fire service to give us the feedback. And so there was a time we asked the assembly to decongest the place because we noticed that there's a lot of activities ongoing here. Yesterday when we came, we noticed there was a choba here. At the same time, they have drinking spots, and a whole lot of people sleep here, they use here as their abode. And so we noticed that some of them even have gas. Yesterday, they were able to retrieve more than 50 gas cylinders. And so we keep on asking, for how long are we going to sit to wait for this?
She assured affected traders of the government's commitment to supporting the rebuilding process, but cautioned them against rushing back to the site until reconstruction is fully completed.
We've asked the assemblies to take care of the debris, and that is exactly what they are doing. We are here to wait feedback from the fire service to know the cause of the fire, and then the affected victims, no matter what it is, the government is ready to support them.
The recurring fires at the Kwame Nkrumah interchange are a reminder of the dangers posed by poor planning and disregard for fire safety. As bulldozers continue to clear debris from the burnt area, many affected traders can only wait and reflect on their losses, hoping for an opportunity to start afresh. Nura Mohammed, TV3 News, Accra.
In more news tonight, the Bring Ken Back protests by pressure group Arise Ghana got intense on the second day as protesters blocked parts of the road in front of the U.S. Embassy and attempted entry into the interior area. Hundreds joined the protests, causing a heightened security and barricades to control the crowd. Kristen Yale reports.
They are unrelenting and will not yield to any influence or be deterred in their demand for expeditious return of Ken Ofori-Atta. Day 2 of the Arise Ghana picket at the U.S. Embassy saw more numbers, unlike the first day, which was calmer. That in a direct response, the police also enhanced their presence with more personnel and barricades, with some on standby to act in any unforeseen eventuality. Political figures showed up.
Any public official must have at the back of the mind that accountability is part of your life. And it's very simple. No one is saying that Ken is guilty. What we are saying is that he must come and answer the questions. If it's done, he can go back to the United States of America. They must be the last country to be standing in the way of Ghana in pursuing accountability. They must not allow their country to be used as a sanctuary for corruption and corrupt officials.
We definitely want to make a point to the U.S. government that they have all that it takes to fast-track Ken's return to this country. We are not perturbed and we are going to continue with this protest until the U.S. government gives us the assurance that Ken is going to be returned to this country as soon as possible.
They defied the barricades to attempt a crossover to the frontage of the embassy, and police started forming a human wall. Unsatisfied, they sat in the middle of the road.
This is what the police were trying to avoid, for which reason they mounted the barricades so that they do not cross to the other side. But right now, they have blocked this entire lane and are asking that Ken Ofori-Atta returns. Why are you blocking the road?
We are not blocking the road. We are now in the American jurisdiction. Earlier we were in Ghana, so we have crossed over now to the United States Embassy, where America has jurisdiction over this place. It's the embassy that we are picketing. That is why we are here.
See how the display is ongoing. You can see that our participants are cheering up so high. They are carrying a strong message across, and their voices are very loud. All that they are demanding for is the deportation of Ken Ofori-Atta to this country. We want him right back here, right now.
You say you no go agree?
We no go agree. No, we no go agree. That continue. We no go agree.
Ken Ofori-Atta must come to answer questions. The reason why he collapsed GN Bank, because of Ken Ofori-Atta, some of us are suffering. There is no job for us to do. You understand? Some of us are dead and gone. Now we need Ofori-Atta to come and then answer questions. As I'm talking to you, some of our benefits, because of Ofori-Atta, some of our benefits, negotiated benefit company, they have held some of our benefit. And stay with them.
Arise Ghana wants to make a statement through this protest and bring pressure to bear.
That they are not going to yield to any influence or any tactics. All that they are asking for is the return of Ken Ofori-Atta as soon as possible, as urgently as possible. That is what they are asking for.
Christian Yali, TV3 News, US Embassy, Accra.
Well, still on Ken Ofori-Atta, the former finance minister would continue to be in detention at the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement Center, which is the ICE Center, after his bail application was not determined by the Immigration Court on Tuesday. The following report takes a look at what transpired in the court yesterday.
Ken Ofori-Atta had been detained by the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. U.S. authorities had argued that he no longer has lawful status to remain in the country following the revocation of his visitor visa. The former finance minister on Tuesday, January 20, 2026, joined a virtual court hearing, but just as the presiding judge was about to determine the bond or bail request, there was an objection from prosecution informing the court about an extradition request. The court, however, said there was no documentary proof immediately available to support it. Ken Ofori-Atta's lawyer had argued that his client had already gone through a bond application hearing when the objection was introduced. Judge David Gadi ordered prosecution to provide documentary evidence supporting the extradition, emphasizing that the court cannot act on assertions without proof. The judge subsequently adjourned the bond hearing to February 19 and gave prosecution up to 30 working days to provide evidence of any extradition process. Ofori-Atta's legal team is seeking his release on bail, arguing he is undergoing medical treatment. The U.S. government, however, opposed the bail, citing the extradition request. The case has been adjourned to April 27, 2026. John Quayson is a constitutional lawyer.
Each day that passes by is a loss for our country. Now, it's already 2 years is unfolded. He is not going to appear in court until 27. That is May, almost half of the year gone. And then they are now going to take some other steps, procedurally. Maybe some people would have weighed that the objection could have been stayed for a day or two. But you see, U.S. today have more people, and this was an immigration court. My analysis, Ghana government has lost big time because he's not coming anytime soon.
And the former Chief Executive Officer of the Microfinance and Small Loans Center, that's MASLOC, Christine Sedinam Tamakuletunu, is set to appear before a United States court today following an extradition request made by the government of Ghana. The former MASLOC Chief Executive was in April 2024 convicted and sentenced in absentia for charges of stealing, money laundering and causing financial loss to the state.
We're staying on legal matters. The Minister for Finance, Dr. Kesiel Atuforsen, has revealed that he is exploring a proposal to allow the judiciary to retain and utilize 100% of its internally generated funds. This is, he says, is part of efforts to address urgent operational challenges within the justice delivery system. Dr. Atuforsen made the disclosure when the Chief Justice, Justice Paul Bafuboni, paid a courtesy call on him on Wednesday to discuss ways of strengthening collaboration between the judiciary and the executive arm of government.
In other news, residents of Teshie and nearby communities have been battling water shortage for more than 3 months. In response, authorities in the area have stepped up with temporary measures to ease the hardship. While residents welcome this intervention, they say it is not enough and are urging authorities to fast-track permanent solutions as the crisis continues.
When the news team visited Teshie and its surrounding communities on Wednesday morning, efforts were underway to address the lingering water crisis. At the Teshie Camp 2 cluster of schools and the Teshie Northern cluster of schools, construction construction of boreholes have already begun, with structures taking shape. Although the projects are yet to be completed, the visible activity is raising cautious hope among residents who have endured months without a regular water supply. Assembly members of the Suchuno and Tribleo electoral areas spoke about the intervention so far.
There has been a very big problem with water challenge within Teshie, or I would even say within Krowo, Lada, Dekotopon, and that of Osu areas. The MP, in collaboration with that of the Assembly, which is the MC, they were bringing tankers around to come and fill most of the polytanks around the areas so that the people will also get some water. You know, this is what they can do for now, but that can never solve the problem.
There will be 5 boreholes. One at Kamtu, one at Teshie Grammar School, one at Aboshenya, one at Aboma, and then one at Lekman Hospital. We are pleading with them to solve their issues with the desalination plant, those in charge, so that we can have this can go, because as the saying go, water is life. Without water, you can't do anything.
Some community members called on the authorities to hasten construction as the water crisis persists.
A lot of food vendors around this area, they have stopped cooking for the people around the area to buy. Also, our household choices that we normally do, it's very difficult to go by it. We will plead with the government, we will plead with the MCE, we will plead with the assemblyman and the MP to come to our aid. To us alone, we will pray that they can finish it quickly for us so that the community can have access to it.
We are waiting for the polytank and the borehole people so that they can connect the water and the water will flow for the community. And we thank them that they have tried for this borehole to the community, because it's not easy.
The ongoing water crisis has impacted the socio-economic activities of residents in the affected communities. It is hoped that the drilling of the boreholes, while not a permanent solution, will go a long way in supplementing effort to address residents' concern.
Let's do some politics now. The Ayawaso East constituency of the governing National Democratic Congress is bracing itself for a keen internal contest as the party prepares to elect a successor to the late Member of Parliament Alhaji Nasser Ture. The race is already narrowing to his widow Hajia Aminu Ahmed and Ghana's ambassador to Nigeria Baba Jamal ahead of the February 7 primaries. Noble Crosby Annan was in the area and has come through this report.
The Ayawaso East constituency, a traditional stronghold of the governing NDC, is set to elect a successor to the late Member of Parliament, Alhaji Nasser Ture. The race is shaping up as a keen contest between Hajia Amina Ahmed, the widow of the former MP, a legal practitioner, and Ghana's ambassador to Nigeria, Baba Jamal, who previously served as Deputy Minister for Local Government and Rural Development. Confirming his intention to contest the seat, Baba Jamal, who was also a parliamentary aspirant in the 2024 election, says his decision is driven by a strong desire to serve the people of Ayawaso East. He maintains that his long-standing commitment to the constituency, backed by what he describes as significant personal investment, places him in a strong position to lead. Meanwhile, supporters of Hajia Amina Ahmed had this to say.
Every political activity that the husband done, this woman pushed the husband to do right thing for the people of Ayawaso East. So most of the delegates are calling to vote for the woman because she's a good woman in the community.
She deserves it. She supports the husband, which I'm aware of. Secondly, when the husband is not feeling fine, we campaign from national, region, up to constituency level. We don't want to do much. This is the thing that we have to give it to Ajia.
As preparations intensify ahead of the 7th February NDC primaries, the Deputy Director of Elections of the NDC, Rashid Tanko Computer, has outlined the modalities for those interested in contesting.
Functional Executive Committee of the NDC took a decision to open nomination for would-be aspirants to pick nomination forms on come Saturday, 24th January. Officers from the election directorate will be at the offices of the NDC regional secretariat come Saturday, 24th, to sell the nomination forms. Each form costs 5,000 Ghana cedis. is opened to anybody. We have enough forms to cover whoever wants to contest the primaries.
He adds that while the contest is expected to be keen, the party is committed to ensuring a fair process. The Electoral Commission is expected to hold the by-election in the Ayawaso East constituency on Tuesday, March 3.
Let's now go to Parliament, where Chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, Alfredo van der Poel, has dismissed comments by the minority seeking to remove the Foreign Affairs Minister, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, describing them as misguiding. The leading member of the NDC further asked Ghanaians to treat the comments with contempt. George Queenan reports.
The minority therefore calls on you, Your Excellency, to remove Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa from the foreign minister's portfolio immediately and appoint in place a competent diplomat, a proven experience.
That was the man addressing the media seeking to remove the foreign affairs minister, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa. 24 hours after the briefing, the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament, Alfredo van der Poel, has reacted to this very briefing and is asking Ghanaians to treat this with contempt and not take anything in there seriously.
His statement is misguided to make those conclusions. We are here to say that we support the Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs, Honorable Okudzeto-Ablakwa, in his work. All Ghanaians have seen what he is doing about creating job opportunities for our youth in foreign circles, about visa issues in this country. He's concerned about the long queues that we see at our foreign embassies here in this country. And he talks about that.
Cletus Sedi Dapela is the vice chairman of the committee, and he says the sector minister is working so hard, and in the area of passport services, it has improved tremendously.
The Honorable Ablakwa can only be applauded, can only be praised for doing a yeoman job for this country. Under his watch as Foreign Affairs Minister, KPIs were developed for our diplomats, high commissioners, ambassadors, and consulates. KPIs, I attended, me and Chairman were in the training. He organized an orientation program for them. And under him, all the ambassadors, high commissioners, consulates that were appointed, none of them were rejected by any country.
Alfred van der Poel, who is also the Member of Parliament for Ablekuma South, expressed the President to continue working with the sector minister in resetting Ghana. George Queenan, TV3 News, Parliament House, Accra.
Away from that, government is giving a firm assurance that the price of cement will not increase as it has put in place adequate measures in the interest of consumers. Speaking at the Government Accountability Series, the Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Elizabeth Ofori-Atta, notes that ongoing dialogue has been activated between the Trade Ministry and key sectors in the cement industry amid public speculation about a possible hike in prices.
The Minister for Trade and Agribusiness, Elizabeth Ofori-Atta, has rejected claims by the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, that foreigners control about 70% of Ghana's retail market. GUTA maintains that Ghanaians now control only about 30% of the retail space, a situation the association says violates existing investment laws.
I can say for sure, without any scientific basis, that foreigners are not responsible for 70% of our retail market. I don't need rocket science. I just need to go to the market and scan around and see how many retail outlets are manned by foreigners. 70%. I don't know where that statistics is coming from, and I don't think that it is correct.
A key architecture of the ministry that has not been fully operational yet is the Commander Sugar Factory, despite efforts to lease it to an Indian firm to manage by the previous government. The current administration says it awaits an advice from the Attorney General's Department for a transaction advice.
I can say that since I became Ghana's Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Watco has not been paid a penny. They have not been paid any amount. I think that it was an intention that was not materialized after the election, because you recall that this was done at the tail end of the year 2024. And when we came to office, we did not make it materialize because it wasn't efficient. It wasn't sustainable. 50,000 for doing what?
The ministry is also planning to roll out a national consumer price transparency application as part of efforts to improve market accountability and protect consumers from arbitrary pricing.
The Northern Regional Liaison Office of National Security has arrested 45 foreign nationals believed to have entered the country from La Côte d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso and Liberia. Sustained intelligence by National Security revealed that the foreign nationals were engaged in kill-net recruitment and trafficking activities within vulnerable peri-urban communities in Tamale. The suspects include 12 Ivorian nationals, 2 Liberian nationals and 31 Burkinabe nationals, all individuals reported being lured into Ghana under false promises of employment, international travel opportunities and business prospects linked to kill-net schemes. Meanwhile, the National Security Liaison Officer, RSM retired Adams Mohammed, has been providing some details about this exercise.
As we dug deeper, we realized most of them were lured into Ghana with the promise of taking them to Europe for other greener pastures. And some too were brought in to do these kill-net activities and other related activities. We are not ruling out the issue of terrorism and that of economic migration. We've been instructed to hand them over to the Ghana Immigration Service for further engagement. I want to stand here on behalf of the National Security Coordinator, assuring the general public that they should go about and carry out their daily activities in peace and safe. We can assure them of their safety. They should not feel that they are insecure. National security is on top of its job and is taking the fight to fish out each and every criminal within our society. I think the peace of our region and the peace of the country is a great supreme interest to us.
Still watching News 360 on TV3. Business, sports and entertainment are all coming up. Do stay with us.
I love President Charcoal. Why? When there are so many other charcoal toothpaste. That's both charcoal and lemon. Oh, does it? Yes. Look right here. Yes. Pepsodent Charcoal has 2 of nature's powerful whitening ingredients.
on the sidelines of the workshop in Accra, Director General of the Islamic Finance Research Institute of Ghana, Dr. Ali Shaibu, said these sessions aim to equip industry players with the technical knowledge required to manage asset-backed, risk-sharing financial products that strictly prohibit the payment or receipt of interest.
Equip all the banks and as well some regulators who are here like the SEC and the rest. What we intend to do is to teach them how to structure a product and some services. In terms of the capital market, those kind of capital market, we are taking them through the non-interest bond, which we call the sukuk, how they are going to structure it and the other products that we have as well.
The new regulatory framework provides a roadmap for both standalone non-interest banks and conventional banks wishing to operate non-interest windows.
The central bank is ready. They've issued their 2026 guideline under the Bank of Ghana Act, and most of them are lacing their boots to go for the alternative system. Non-interest bank is an alternative system that promote financial inclusion and help elevate people away from the poverty line.
The move is designed to promote financial inclusion and provide ethical banking alternatives to the millions of Ghanaians currently outside the formal financial system.
Now to more stories. Star Oil Limited has suspended its membership of the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, COMAC, a move that has heightened tensions within Ghana's downstream petroleum sector. Now, in a statement issued on Wednesday, 21 January, the company described the decision as an indefinite suspension, saying it followed careful consideration. Star Oil said its membership had been based on expectations of fair representation and openness to differing views on policy and regulation. It added that recent developments had undermined those principles, prompting a reassessment of its association with the chamber. Now, for that, to more stories. Ghana is making significant strides in the fight against poverty, with new data showing over 1 million people have moved out of multidimensional poverty in less than a year. According to the latest report from the Ghana Statistical Service, the number of people experiencing deprivation in health, education, and living conditions dropped from 8.2 million in early 2024 to roughly 7 million by the third quarter of 2025, with employment as a major driver.
While the national poverty rate has fallen to 21.9%, the GSS warns of a widening gap between our cities and villages. Rural areas face a poverty incidence of nearly 32% compared to just 14% in urban centers. Regionally, the Northeast and Savannah regions remain the most vulnerable, with over half the population classified as multi-dimensionally poor. In contrast, Greater Accra and the Western region maintain the lowest rates, both staying under 20%. Government statistician Dr. Al-Hassan Idrisu explains.
If you look at the data, you would see that Greater Accra is actually around 9%. Between 8 to 9%, more specifically. So it's lower. And then if you take Western region, 18%. Now, the point I was trying to make there by saying that if you take the two regions, they are under 20%. Because the national average is around 21.9%.
The report identifies a lack of health insurance coverage as the single largest contributor to poverty, affecting over a quarter of the population. Other critical poverty drivers include nutrition accounting for 14.4%, employment 12.3%, and school attendance 8.5%.
Households headed by the unemployed actually recorded the highest poverty, reaching 35.6% in Q3 of 2025 from 31.9% in Q2. So those who are not working, the poverty rates are very high. We are talking about 35.6% in Q3. If you compare this to those who are in the private informal sector, they also recorded very high poverty rates.
And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obudu. We'll bring you updates now from the currency and the commodities market.
Rollout is brought to you by Sasso Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360 with me, Oreku Ampofo. The Confederation of African Football Disciplinary Committees, they have imposed a severe sanctions on Algeria following the chaotic scenes that unfolded after their quarter-final defeat to Nigeria at the just-ended Africa Cup of Nations. The sanctions affect players, the federation, and supporters involved in the incident at the end of the match, which saw Nigeria defeat Algeria by 2-0 to advance to the semi-finals of the competition. In response, the Algerian Federation have confirmed it will appeal the sanctions, emphasizing their commitment to defending the interest of Algerian football through institutional channels. And now let's take a look at some of the fines that have been imposed on them. And so the first one is Luka Zidane, who is the son of Zinedine Zidane. He's been suspended for 2 games, and those games would be served in the CAF region only. And so during the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers for 2027, same also applies to Rafik Belhali. He's also been suspended, but his is 4 games. And then there's a breakdown of the fine: 50,000 fine for media, 25,000 for the players and officials, 10,000 for failing to comply with security rules, and more. Well, away from that, let's come to Ghana, where Albert Amoah has returned to Asante Kotoko with renewed determination, making it clear that he has unfinished business with the Porcupine Warriors. Amoah joined Libyan side Al Ahly Benghazi in October 2025, but rejoined Kotoko on deadline day in the January transfer window.
Well, it feels good, and it feels like it was a holiday, so I feel good. Well, I decided that I want to come back to Kotoko so that I will just finish my own, everything that I started, so that I will be okay. Well, yeah, it's part. It's part because I think winning the league is also part of my journey, and I was happy when the time came for me to choose the team that I want to go on loan. So I decided to come back so that you can work hard and claim it. Well, I think when you look at the table, it's not over. There are more matches to play. So I think there's nothing to give up. I think we are going to work very hard to make it to the top as our supporters wanted us to do. So I'm really happy to be here so that we can work together as a team to achieve what we want.
Let's do some more transfer news, however, this time in Europe, where Ghana international midfielder Ibrahim Sulemana has completed a return to Cagliari, rejoining the Serie A club on loan from Atalanta with an option to buy. The 22-year-old's move has been officially announced by the club, bringing an early end to his loan spell at Bologna, where he struggled for regular playing time during the first half of the season. The Bologna spell did not go as planned. Sulemana managed only 4 competitive appearances across Serie A and the Coppa Italia, accumulating just 112 minutes of game time. And so that's all that time would allow us for here on the new sports segment here on News 360. My name is Oreku Ampofo, where you can get some more updates on our social media handles, especially on the ongoing UEFA Champions League games.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by GTP Lifestyle
and Napa Foods. Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Powered by 3 Entertainment.
Good evening and welcome to the entertainment news segment here on News360. My name is Noella Donko. Now, from a home filled with music in the Upper West region to the biggest stage on Ghanaian television, Ivy Hollis is living a dream driven by faith, talent and resilience. As the grand finale of TV3 Mentor, the breakout edition approaches, the contemporary gospel singer says she is ready to claim the ultimate title at the 200,000 Ghana cedis at stake. She spoke to Wusu Warai.
Jesus, you love me too much.
Born in Jirapa in the Upper West region, Ivy Hollis spent most of her formative years in Wa, the regional capital. Her passion for music was nurtured early, growing up in a home where both parents were avid music lovers.
My dad would always have these cassettes from back in the day, and he'd be playing all the Don Moines, all the CC Winans, all of those songs. And so I grew up listening to music, loving music, just like I grew up loving reading. I remember my first ministration was at age 12. And so from there, I started singing in church. Yeah, that's how music found me.
Taking what she describes as a step of faith, Ivy auditioned for Mentor Season 14, a decision she now calls one of the most defining moments of her life.
Mentor, oh my goodness, it's been one of the biggest life-changing decisions that I've ever made. It's been probably the highlight of my 20-something years of being on this earth. It's changed a lot of things.
According to her, the Mentor experience completely reshaped her understanding of music.
I would say I have grown musically.
Your name is the highest. Your name is the greatest.
The contemporary gospel singer believes her presence in the finale represents something bigger than personal success. To the rising star, winning Mentor would be a major motivation for vocalists.
Yes, Ivy is winning. Ivy Hollis is taking the trophy, she's taking the crown, she's taking everything, the money. It would mean a lot for vocalists generally, because the trend has always been rappers, raga people taking the crown and all of that. So it would mean a lot.
Currently an SEO analyst and traffic executive with Focus Media, Ivy says she's bringing nothing but authenticity to the final stage as she sets her sights on the trophy and everything that comes with it.
On Sunday, Ivy is bringing authenticity. It is physical, it is spiritual, it is everything, some, every realm, some, but of course, you know that will be top there.
The grand finale of TV3 Mentor, the breakout edition, comes off on Sunday, January 25, 2026.
Above all thrones and dominion, all powers and position.
And we're definitely wishing her all the best. That's it for the entertainment news segment here on News360. My name is Noella Donko.
On the international front, U.S. President Donald Trump has ruled out the use of force in his bid to control Greenland on Wednesday, but says in a speech that no other country can secure the Danish territory.
It was a pleasure coming your way with the news. I am Martin Asiedudate.
And I am Portia Gabo. Good evening.